Hey there, welcome to Randomness of Rudy. My name is Tracey. I'm a consulting astrologer and a certified life coach. And welcome to my playlist, What's Your Sign, Virgo? This is a playlist that focuses on what it means to have the planets in our solar system, specifically Sun through Jupiter, in the sign of Virgo. And it's a playlist that was inspired for parents who have children with Virgo placements in their astrological birth chart. But of course, if you're an adult, these videos apply to you as well. And so if you have not seen some of the other videos, Sun in Virgo, Mercury in Virgo, be sure to check them out if they apply. In this video, we're going to talk about what it means to have the planet Venus in the sign of Virgo. All of the planets in our solar system are positioned in different zodiac signs at our moments of birth. And so not only do we have a sun sign, a zodiac sign, but we also all have a moon sign, a Venus sign, a Saturn sign. And again, each planet means something specific to your personality, to your child's personality. Venus in astrology describes what we value when it comes to relationships, when it comes to money and finances and resources, when it comes to how we're able to provide a sense of safety and security for ourselves, whether it's in our one-on-one connections or when it comes to the material world. Virgo, meanwhile, is an earth sign that's known to be pretty grounded, pretty practical. And so, generally speaking, this is a sign that wants to know that life is moving in an orderly fashion, doesn't need a whole lot, wants a kind of safety and security in the way of consistency and routine. So when you put Venus in the sign of Virgo, it describes a native who values the little things in relationships. Yes, Venus in Virgo may want romance, especially if the sun is in the sign of Leo. Yes, Venus in Virgo, wants a kind of, intentional partnership, especially if the moon is in the sign of Libra, right? But on a core level, Venus in Virgo values a relationship that generates in a consistent, routinely fashion. What are our plans for the next week? What are our plans for the next year? What are our plans for the next decade? And so Venus in Virgo wants to know that there's a goal or something within the relationship that two people are working toward, a shared goal, a shared value. I would also add that when it comes to love languages, Venus in Virgo's love language is acts of service. And that this is a placement that describes someone that's quite giving in a relationship. What I love about this placement is that Venus in Virgo natives are observant. They pick up on things. And so if you're dating someone with Venus in the sign of Virgo, you may find they notice when you run out of stuff at home, or they remember that you have that doctor's appointment you need to schedule, or they are, seeing that you're a little stressed out with family, so they jump in to support where they can. That's how Venus in Virgo loves and operates. Of course, that means that this placement is often susceptible to being taken for granted because Venus in Virgo gives quite a bit. So these are things that you want to be mindful of if you were born with Venus in the sign of Virgo, or if you're raising a child with Venus in the sign of Virgo. Same is true when it comes to money and finances. Venus in Virgo natives tend to be frugal. This is a placement that describes someone that will probably keep an Excel spreadsheet to make sure their bills are being paid on time. There's nothing wrong with that. It speaks to why Venus in Virgo natives tend to do well for themselves financially, okay? That said, there's a fine line between being fiscally responsible and frugal, cheap. These are things that you want to be mindful of. Venus in Virgo wants to make sure that you're not operating from scarcity when it comes to your definition of abundance and prosperity. But for the most part, this placement tends to be pretty fiscally responsible. And in fact, when you can teach a child with Venus in Virgo how to properly manage their finances and resources, you may find that they do really well for themselves when it comes to creating material wealth and safety, okay? Now, all of that said, Virgo, generally speaking, is an anxious energy. And you may find, especially from a relationship standpoint, with Venus in the sign of Virgo, remember, this placement notices everything. And this can come off in ways that can be nitpicky in a relationship. Venus in Virgo can be somewhat critical in their relationships. But it really speaks to a kind of standard that Venus in Virgo has for themselves in relationship, and a standard that's also often projected onto relationship partners. And this can bring a lot of disappointment. You know, I always joke with Virgo energy, 100% to them is like 300% to other people. And so if you were born with Venus in Virgo, or if you have a child with Venus in Virgo, you may find that there are a lot of expectations these natives have when it comes to relationships, expectations that may actually lead to disappointment. Because the reality is, no one is going to be as observant and aware and intentional as someone with Venus in the sign of Virgo. So you want to make sure that if you were born with this placement, or if you're raising a child with this placement, that you're learning how to manage your expectations. You also want to make sure that you're not looking for fixer-uppers in your relationship, sidestepping true intimacy out of fear of disappointment when your expectations aren't being met. Most times that won't fully be the case, but keep in mind, again, your 100 is like 300 to other people. That's not good or bad. It just begs the need for you to manage your expectations, okay? Same is true, again, with money and finances. It's okay to take risks with your resources. You will most likely always land on your feet, but you don't want to be so scrutinizing of a budget that you can't enjoy the money and resources that you're bringing in, okay? This is a particular kind of energy. Venus and Virgo make particular lovers. They're also very particular with how they manage their finances. Not good or bad, just things to be mindful of. And of course, we are only talking about the Venus placement. When we're born, all of the planets are in different zodiac signs. And so there are going to be additional layers to how you navigate love and relationships based on your sun placement or your Mars placement. And so if you're a child wanting to learn more, or excuse me, if you're an adult wanting to learn more about your full astrological makeup, I invite you to visit my website, TraceyLRogers.com, to book a personal reading. If you're a parent wanting to learn more about your child's astrological makeup, feel free to visit my website, babyastrologybooks.com, to purchase their first astrology book. These books are amazing. They're about 32 to 34 pages long, personally authored by me, professionally published and printed, and they make for wonderful gifts, okay? And so until next time, take care.